about what it was like performing. Mixed in a lot of like old school funk and stuff. I think I heard some George Clinton,
yes,
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what was that? What was that experience like, just playing over there?
So playing for the Lollapalooza crowd is really awesome. I mean, the Midwest mentality is absolutely amazing. These kids seem to be very like receptive to this current scene of music,
right?
And they're not very critical either.
Yeah,
you know, they love music and they genuinely like want to hear good music from their listeners. So it's a good platform to bring new, interesting kind of maybe risky things to the table.
Right.
So like play around with these guys, you know, because they just want to enjoy themselves.
You always use the sax when you play live?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Definitely, man.
I was going to ask you how you ended up here. How are you like playing Lollapalooza today? Because I mean, you're 21 years old, so 23 now? Okay. Tell me a little bit about your journey to get here.
Well, I'll tell you very honestly, I have no idea how I got here.
Okay.
I mean, that's the honest answer. But the more like intricate, detailed, like kind of answer, the long and the short of it would be that I started in Lansing doing local nightly kind of gigs and posting free music on the internet. Okay. And a couple of blogs picked up what I was doing, namely this blog, This Song's Sick, and it helped me spread this music to a larger audience. We got some bookings through SoundCloud.com actually. Like, kids hit me up on like messages and be like, hey, will you play in my city for like, you know, $50? We'll fly you out here. And I was like, dude, no way. Like, you want me to play music in your city? That's awesome. I'm there. So we did that. And then we kind of got a manager, and we kind of, with his vision and my vision included, we kind of worked our way into understanding how bookings work at a booking agent and maneuvering our way through the world of electronic music, and ended up here.
Talk about your background a little bit, and like, I think I read that you started producing when you were 14.
Yeah.
Right? So what got you into music in the first place, and what made you sort of turn into production as your first sort of outlet?
I think that the whole music thing started when I was a really young kid. My mom introduced me to the movie Fantasia when I was like 3.
Oh, yeah?
I watched that VHS so many times I burnt out the tape. We had to get a new one. Now no one in my family are musicians really, and I think that was really like that like nature nurture, you know,
right.
like philosophical like development thing. It was just like that whole nurture part of it, you know, like it introduced my young brain to these chord progressions and ways of like classical music. Then I started playing saxophone, took piano lessons, all that good stuff, and then in high school started smoking weed, and where we would get our weed from was our friend's older brother, and then he gave my friend this program called Fruity Loop Studio, which is like a digital audio workspace where it's basically like, you know, if you write a letter, you have to write it by hand, but now you have words, so you can like, you know, do it that way. So it's the same kind of way with music, you know, like you can edit it and read and manipulate it and make whatever kind of sound you're thinking of. I was fascinated by that, just like, it was all practice based at the time, you know, I practiced saxophone, practiced piano, performed, but now it was like a different level. It was like, I could actually go ahead and like write something, come back to it, change it, and orchestrate a whole symphony of whatever I wanted to hear.
Right. What about electronic music in particular? Like what sort of, you know, the first like record that you listened to that sort of really inspired you?
It was, if you guys are familiar with this guy, Aphex Twin, and a very similar artist, Square Pusher.
Right.
So Tom Jenkinson, Square Pusher, and Aphex Twin, who is Ronald Janke.
Those Aphex Twin videos are great, like the music videos that he used to make.
Yeah. They're crazy. Window Licker.
Yeah, that one MTV wouldn't even play an ad for it. I remember hearing this.
It's insane with those shit just going and going and going and going. Boy-girl song, like a girl-boy song. So it's that kind of stuff, like a very detail-oriented glitch style of music. So that was like something that I heard and I was like, music can sound like this.
I know, huh?
You know? That's cool.
You were on tour with Bassnectar, correct?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Bassnectar has, from some extenuating circumstances, become a close friend of mine, Lauren, and he asked me to be a part of his tour, and I was glad to accept it, and it was really awesome animalistic sounds, making them more like just psychedelic and concentrated, and putting that in with the hip hop sample style, funk, soul kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. You working on a new record? Because Mad Liberation is like a year old now, right?
Yeah. The new record is Rebel Era, and it's coming out the start of September.
Oh wow, cool. It's done?
So I'm headed to Detroit working on as much as I possibly can. And it's like a stream of consciousness thing, you know. Music is now.
Yeah.
But it's also the future, because if I'm honest with it, then I feel like it's something that I will always love. So.
What about there's a lot of piano on Mad Liberation. Are you interested? And you talk a little bit about classical. Are you interested in that type of music and trying to bring that into the fold too in some way?
In a small way.
Yeah.
I mean, sitting in front of like a keyboard, playing stuff, can be very like spiritual.
Do you play piano?
Yes.
Yeah.